What's up, guys? That Really Gross Guy here, and we are back. And there's been an update in Warframe. It's Wednesday. This will be going up the following day, just because I've been feeling under the weather recently. So usually I get these videos out the day of, but forgive me. But anyways, we have a little bit of cosmetic stuff going on, as well as some augments to look at. So you can kind of see them already on Zephyr right here. The chest plate and the arm attachments, and then there's some leg attachments down there, but we'll take a closer look at those in here just a minute, as well as the Syandana. But anyways, you can pick these up right here for 100 for the cosmetics that go on the arms, the legs, and the chest. And then on top of that, there is the Centuria Syandana. Now, I like the Syandana, but I'm a little put off just a little bit by how solid the actual cape part is. But I don't know, other than that, the cosmetic actually looks very fantastic, especially these like metallic parts that come off. They look really good with certain frames. So anyways, that was 70 platinum if you want to get that as well. But yeah, so let's run down here, and real quick we'll take a look at the cosmetics first. And like I said, look at that. They look so good on Zephyr. They look so good on Zephyr. They look kind of like feathers, in my opinion. They are look a little bit like bladed, but they kind of, to me, look like feathers, and they look fantastic. Look at that. They look so good. I don't know. Something about this look is really attractive to me. I like this probably more than most of the cosmetics they've added. And even this chest piece, I'm not big on most of the chest pieces because they kind of take away from what is already kind of designed in the frame. But this like winged look looks kind of cool, especially for Zephyr, like I said, really cool. So there it is on the legs and over here. But I've decided to keep the Syandana on Zephyr the way it has been. If you want to take a look and see what it would look like on her, I'll do that. But personally, I think it looks okay. But I really like this Imperator skin. Imperator, I think it's the Imperial skin, but it's, or the Imperial Syandana, but it's not. Anyways, so I kind of like it like that. But I do have, I do want to also show you that this also looks fantastic. Also, even with the Scaron skin by Nova Dragon. See, like this one, Hitsusan, and then Nova Dragon. So, pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it looks so good on her. And then even the basic coloration, this bluish color for some reason is much darker, than it is on these other skins. But anyways, if I were to just tweak this a little bit, it would just look totally fine. And then the helmet, I could switch to any other helmet, and along with those other skins, I think it would look absolutely fine. But I also have my other Zephyr, which is running the Phoenix colors, and you can see them, and I like them. But I also kind of look my older setup. I'm probably still gonna change it to this. But I wanted to run this one around a little bit, run it left, look at this side while she's running, then look at that side while she's running, see what I like the more. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm probably gonna go with this, but I do want to keep the chest plate because this is like a Phoenix oriented one, and I do like the broad, like bony chest plate on this reddish color, so I'm probably gonna keep that one. But yeah, so that is my Zephyr. Let's see, my alternate. This is my Loki, and this has got the Syandana on it, and I think it looks fantastic. Forgive the Cronin for sticking. There we go. The Cronin from sticking through there, but. Yeah, it looks great, especially these metallic parts that come off of him. He's already got this this part of his body that kind of sticks out a little bit on his back, and these just kind of go around it, and it looks so good. There is another frame that that I really like to be like bare, that has like a bare back. However, I dropped the Syandana on him. And it looks so good. Look at that, especially the way he's standing. Like this, I think this is the Necro stance, but especially the way he's standing, he looks so intimidating. He kind of looks like like some kind of royal guard or something, or like an old Roman soldier or something with a cape. You know, obviously he's been ordained with, you know, he's a higher class soldier or whatever, and that just looks so good. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that looks so good. I think I also dropped it on Octavia. Yeah, I also put it on Octavia. However, it does seem to not quite. I don't know if this is going to be tweaked at all. I do like the way the metallic comes underneath her arms, because then it doesn't clip as much. It does clip a little bit, but something about it interacting back here is kind of killing it for me. And I actually had the game crash when I put this on her for some reason. So maybe that's just coincidence, but maybe it's just not placed right, and the game was like, what? Anyways, I think that's about it. I want to put it on some other frames. Yeah, I tried it on these Mirage, and they look okay, but I'm not too sure if it's quite right for her. I'm sure you could do it in a coloration and definitely get away with it on pretty much any frame, but just something about it being on these current ones looks fantastic. So let's get out of the cosmetic section. I hope that gives you a good idea of what to expect when it comes to the Sayandana and the arm pieces. Let's just real quick, for the sake of this is gonna be real quick. That looks kind of cool. And then let's do the arm thingies. Yeah, I don't know. It's too feathery for this very like edgy Loki. So I'm not too sure if I'm down for it on that. But let's get over to the augments and let's take a look at those. So should go over to recent. Okay, so Negation Swarm. This is going to go on at Naros, and I'm not too sure how I feel about this one. I'm going to have to test it out, but I do like the way it sounds. I just don't know in practice, you know, if it's going to be good. Like I said, you know, on paper, sounds good, but will it be? So, Scarab Swarm Augment. Scarab Armor protects in Naros from status effects, consuming 3% bonus armor for each effect resisted. Now, I love pushing as much armor into my Inaros using his abilities and whatnot to keep him very tanky, and I do like the idea of negating status effects for sure, especially like a knockdown or like a bleed, like a slash bleed proc or something like that. It sounds fantastic. However, I cherish my armor rating, and I would hate for that to drop and drop the more I use Inaros. Until I have to basically reset my armor rating by using the swarm again. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's worth it. Maybe with the right mods and whatnot, it's definitely worth it. But for me, I'm very run and gun, and I like having a huge amount of armor, and I don't like that number decreasing. But I could be wrong. Let me know if you have an appropriate way to mod for this augment, because I'm definitely down to try it out, because like I said, I love Inaros, and he's definitely one of my most enjoyable run and gun tanky frames. So next up, the Beguiling Lantern. So this is for Titania. This is going to be her for her lantern ability, and it's going to attract it already attracts enemies, but attracted enemies will take 100% more melee damage. Now, it sounds good to me all the way up until it says melee damage, because me personally, I like to cast out the lantern. I like it to be a distraction, but then I either kind of let them go off and do their thing, and I focus on specific targets, or I will shoot those targets from a distance, because I like to keep that distance between me and them. Now, I wish it wasn't only melee damage, is the only critique I have about this. While I think it's good, I would love additional damage. I would prefer that damage to be done using my my primary or secondary weapons. But I'm sure it's useful. This is another one of those things where it's like, if you have the right build and the right mods or whatever, you can make this very useful. Or say your melee weapon is like a whip or something that reaches really good, or your gear is oriented around a melee Titania. I could definitely understand using this mod for sure. But let me know, like I said, for each one of these, if there's an appropriate way you think you could build using this augment. And then Piercing Navigator. This is another one. I think it's going to be very, very situational, and personally, I probably will never use this mod unless I have like a team that is absolutely cool with me running like a sniper Avara build. And by sniper, I mean anything that's really, really long range, whether it be a bow or a sniper rifle itself. But the piercing navigator that for Avara is the navigator augment for the navigator ability. Each hit increases the projectile's crit chance up to 10% for a max of 50%. It sounds good on paper, but like I said, I think it's going to be very situational because navigator to me, I don't use it often enough to really like number one, you have to hit 5 enemies in order for it to max out at 50%, which is doable, but it's doable if you're the type of player that stays away from enemies. I feel like this is, I mean, she can cloak herself, but in order to be trying to get the mission done in a decent amount of time or whatever. Obviously, this is different when it comes to like a defense or whatever, you know. But if you're trying to get the mission done in a quick amount of time, you're wanting to be mobile rather than sitting back and just having a projectile flying around. So for me, this is going to be situational. While I think it can be useful, I feel like it's just not quite good enough. 50% chance is good, but I feel like I would rather put other mods in this mod slot. I could be wrong, like I said. If you have a good use for this, let me know, or a good way to build for it. And then lastly, the Pyroclastic Flow. This is probably one of the most, one of the ones that I'm most looking forward to. So, Neja. Neja, I think, is a really good frame. I don't play her all that often, but the Firewalker augment. Accumulate 150% of the damage Firewalker deals, unleashing a trail of fire that lasts 10 seconds. Now, this trail of fire is similar to Frost Forward, like Stomp, where he sends out ice, except this one is going to be like a fire trail. And the good thing about this is Neja is already a very mobile frame. You're going to be running, probably sprinting past a lot of the fodder, the enemies, the little minion dudes, and they're going to be following you and taking damage. Now, that's really good. This augment works in a lot in most people's favor because these enemies that are going to be following you and taking damage is going to accumulate an amount of damage that you can now walk forward to an enemy that you are more likely to take damage from. So if you were to run past all the lancers and the butchers and all that stuff, and you encounter a heavy gunner or a bombard, this is all that damage that you accumulated by the guys walking on your fire is now set for a burst of damage towards these other guys. So like I said, just run past the minions, run past all the other stuff that you don't really care to deal with, and when you reach an enemy that's going to cause you a problem, you have a stack of damage that's already ready and ready to go to blast these guys with. And I think that's going to be good. I think this is going to be probably the most used augment out of the 4. While, you know, it is Neja and it is kind of a specific playstyle, I feel like Neja is a pretty good enough playstyle that most people can enjoy Neja, but I feel like this is useful. But is it worth the mod slot? I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think. How can you build appropriately for this one as well? I feel like I'm gonna find a spot for it in my build, but some people might cherish some of their mods too much when it comes to Neja to remove, you know, maybe something for speed or survivability. But anyways, let me know. What do you think about that? What do you think about these augments? What do you think about the cosmetics? What's a good way to build any of these builds around these augments? And then lastly, I want to say is the last ribbon I unveiled is this Akjagara Argi, and shut up, Lotus. I'm almost done. And I'm going to probably be re-rolling this, and I am excited about the Akjagara because I use that on my Inaros, and I use that on one of my Chroma builds. So I am excited about re-rolling this and seeing how good I can get this ribbon mod. So stay tuned for that sometime in the future. I have a few other ribbons that I still am experimenting with and trying to to level up and maybe re-roll some of these in order to try some of these out. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this update was good for you guys. Anyways, thank you, and until next time. Blow!